everyone, and welcome to NameHero.com Managed Hosting. Today we're going to talk about how to make money with AliExpress.com. If you're not familiar with the Alibaba group, the AliExpress.com website is just one of their sites, but it's similar to Amazon and how Amazon operates here in the US. Now, Alibaba Group is based out of China, so it's been even called the Chinese eBay before. But it's available in many different languages, and I read somewhere just a couple days ago that they're reaching somewhere like 100 million people a day shopping. So it's blowing up. And so the reason why we want to highlight this on our blog is we're starting to get a lot of their affiliates are coming over and getting web hosting with us. So instead of answering a bunch of support tickets on how to set up their sites and all this, we decided just to make a presentation to explain how it's done and how you should set up your site if you're interested in promoting the AliExpress.com affiliate program. So really quick, let's switch over and just take a look at AliExpress.com. Here's their site, and you can see they've got many different categories, which we're going to talk about. But basically, any customer that you send them and they buy something, you get paid a commission. And so if you have a lot of sites going or a lot of products on your sites, you can earn a good deal of money. Now, if we click over here and just look at their affiliate program website, you can see they pay out already over $100,000 a month, with top sellers earning up to $20,000 a month. So, and they're just really getting started. So that's another reason why we wanted to highlight this. Back when Amazon and eBay first got started, their affiliate programs were tremendous, and a lot of people made a lot of money using those. So as the affiliate programs start ramping up and it gets more saturated, the barrier to entry gets higher. So right now it's good to get in while these things are new and just getting started. Then you can really start to dominate. Okay, so let's kind of go back over here and talk about getting started and what you need to do to get started with their affiliate program. So you basically need to have a niche. That's the first thing you need to do, is you're going to create a website that's going to be a niche specific. Okay, that way that you send them to your site with all this niche specific content, and then you direct them out to the AliExpress website. And that way you kind of pre-sell the user and give them a reason to go through your site rather than just going to AliExpress.com directly. So in this tutorial, we're going to talk about how to register your domain, how to set up your cloud web hosting, how to install WordPress and a theme, how to install the plugins that we're going to use, and how to import products, and how to start marketing your site. So this might get a little lengthy, so we might have to break this video up just a little bit, so just have patience if we do. But we'll go ahead and just jump right into it with niche selection. Okay, so if we go ahead and we can go to AliExpress.com and look at the categories as we just did, and we'll jump back over there. But your goal is going to be to set up one niche site per category. So I just went ahead and screenshotted here. So you can see we have women's clothing, men's clothing, and a bunch of different categories. Now, if you had a site in each one of these niches with the products on it, and then you start marketing all of them, that's be 13 sites, and you would really start to ramp up some traffic over time. You'd start to get some search engine rankings, and that's how you really start to make money at these affiliate programs. You know, your first couple months, your first 6 months, you might not make a whole lot other than developing the sites, but after that, you'll start earning residual income, and it can become a full-time job. Okay, so if you create a site in each one of these categories, it's going to give you the most coverage with enough traffic to cover all the verticals. So when a lot of affiliates are making their niche sites, they like to go too thin, I like to call it. And so, for instance, men's clothing, that's a good niche site to do. It would be just for men's clothing. Now, you wouldn't just want to do, say, men's t-shirts. That's okay, but you know, still you're a little bit, it's too small of where you can really target and get a lot of traffic. So if you just target men's clothing in general, then there's a lot more traffic out there, and it's going to be easier for you to start gaining some leverage on your site. Don't get overwhelmed though. What we're going to do is we're just going to take this one site at a time, and that's how you should look at it too. Is you're starting one site, get it up, get it launched, and that's going to be a huge accomplishment. Okay, so let's go now into domain registration. Okay, the first thing I suggest doing is once you find out what niche you're going to do first, and so for our example, we're going to stick with women's clothing. right now here it's May, so it's June rather. So it's approaching summertime, and women are shopping for bathing suits and shorts and dresses because we have weddings coming up and all kinds of stuff. So that's a good niche to get into. It depends. You want to look at the time of year to pick your first niche. So female clothing is a really good niche for the summertime months. So that's a niche we're going to show how to set up here. And so I like using leandomainsearch.com to get good ideas for your domains. And another good one is expireddomains.net, because you can type in a keyword and it'll show you expired names that have just expired, and some might still have some backlinks, and so it might be a better name and all that. So let's just do this real quick. Let's just click Lean Domain Search real quick. Let's actually open another window here. Let's just go here. And so we could type in a keyword such as shopping and click search domains. And see, it's going to bring up a whole bunch of options here, a whole bunch of domains that are open for registration. So that's just one way that I like to do it. And again, another one is expireddomains.net, and I'll demonstrate that one as well. Is what you can do is you can go to deleted.coms, and we can filter it and only choose the .coms, and we can type in, say, shop. Whoops, if I spell it right, and apply the filter, and then we can sort it by ABY, and it's going to show us domains with the keyword shop in it, and ABY shows when it was first registered. And so it says drop, so we know this it's expired. So you can pick up these domains, and sometimes you can really get some good names. So the example name we're going to use is shop-easy.com. And it's not the best domain, but it's an older domain. It was registered in the late 90s, and we've already picked it up and registered it, so we can build this site out. So that's how we got that. And again, you can search these every single day. And I like to find names that are just kind of aged and maybe have some backlink power, which shows you through these indicators here, or have just been recently dropped, because as many listening to this presentation know, that a lot of the good .coms are taken. So it's good to find ones that have been dropped, or using a tool such as Lean Domains to find something unique to really give some leverage to your new business or a new website. Okay, so let's jump back into here. You can register your domain wherever you feel most comfortable. We are going to use NameHero.com because that's what we're going to use for our tutorials. So if you want to stick with that, go with NameHero.com. We appreciate your business, but we're not going to force you to buy names from us. Okay, so let's go ahead and get that name registered. Okay, so we've got shop-easy.com registered. Again, maybe not the best name, but it was an aged name, and we found it and decided we just go ahead and pick it up. For your convenience, we have ID protection as well. If you want to protect your information from spammers, we definitely recommend putting that on there. Okay, so now we need to go ahead and set up our cloud hosting. So let's go back to our presentation here. Since we got the domain registered, I want to talk really quick about why we recommend cloud hosting for these type of websites. Okay, one, cloud hosting is going to give you the scalability, meaning you're going to start your site today. Well, it's probably likely you're not going to get a lot of traffic today. You're not going to have a lot of hits. You're just getting started. No one knows about your name yet. So it's not going to cost a lot right now for you to get your name online. It doesn't take a lot. However, over time, as visitors start coming into your site, you're going to have to keep upgrading. On the cloud, on the NameHero.com Managed Cloud, you can start at our base package. As you grow your cloud account with us, and you don't have to move anything. Now, some of the cheap discount hosts out there, such as HostGator and Bluehost, they cost less at first, but if you try to move when you get too big for those type of hosts, they really have a lot of stipulations and make it almost impossible to move your files. We know this because at NameHero.com we transfer a lot of customers each month out of HostGator and Bluehost and many of the discount guys out there, and they did just that. They were getting started, they chose a cheap discount host, and then they want to move because the cheap discount host can no longer satisfy their needs, and to pull their files is really a challenge. It's actually a thing that we've had to start charging for in some cases because they disable the backup feature in cPanel for whatever reason. So anyways, you don't want to make that mistake. So I highly suggest, and if you're not going to go with NameHero, there's other cloud hosts out there. But definitely don't get stuck with a shared host that's going to restrict your business. You can learn more about cloud hosting versus traditional hosting on our blog, and I've got the link on there if you want to go to it, or you can just search NameHero.com, or you can search in Google cloud versus traditional web hosting. And that'll tell you a little bit more, but I don't want to harp on too much more about that, but you definitely do not want to start a business on a cheap host and then expect when you get popular to move it, because you're really going to be in for a big pain that could cost your business big time. Okay, so let's now set up the hosting for this, and I'm just going to walk through how to set up that account. So what we're going to do is just go to Manage Cloud Hosting, and we're going to go to Order Services. Okay, now if you're just getting started with your first site, you can start with the business package. As you get more sites, you can see you can upgrade. Now if you're gun-ho and you know that you're going to have 3 sites set up today, which is not impossible, you could go with the agency today, which is going to give you unlimited sites, or even the ultimate, which is going to give you more storage. For our example though, we're just going to do 1 site in this tutorial, so we're going to go ahead and deploy it, the business. And we could have registered our name here right now, but we've already got it in there, so we're just going to input it in here. Okay, and we're going to complete the payment here, and we'll be right back with you. Okay, and we've got the payment completed now, and the cloud hosting account is provisioned and set up. That's a good thing here about our platform here at NameHero. As soon as you're approved through our fraud check, then everything is automatic. The approvals and stuff are right automatic, and you're set up. So that really is a nice benefit. Okay, so the only thing we need to do now to tie the shopeasy.com domain to our cloud is change the name servers. So we just have to go in here and name servers and make sure we're at ns1.namehero.net and ns2.namehero.net. Now that may change depending on how the account's provisioned, so you make sure you want to check your welcome email, because it's going to tell you how to do that. But this will definitely get it set up, and that's how we're going to do the Shop Easy domain. Okay, so now we need to go into Web Host Manager and set up WordPress. And actually, before we do that, let's talk really quick about why we're going to use WordPress. Okay, WordPress, many of you may be familiar with it, but if you're not, just kind of hang in there if you are. But if you're not, WordPress is a free content management system, and it's very easy to use, even if you don't have any coding or technical knowledge. For the purpose of this demonstration, it's going to be a requirement because we're going to use some plugins and stuff that are required. So for this AliExpress.com tutorial, you have to use WordPress. You want to make sure that you pick a theme though that's responsive, meaning that it's going to scale to whatever device someone's on. Remember, the majority of people browsing now are browsing on their smartphones or iPads. They're not on their computers. While a lot of people may still every once in a while hit their computer up, most of the time they're browsing Facebook on their phone, Twitter or Instagram on their phone. So you want to make sure that your website shows up correctly. So you want to make sure the theme is responsive. And you can test that by dragging your browser, and we'll show an example of that as we get going here. But let's go ahead and set up and install WordPress, because that is going to be the first thing we need to do before we can move forward. So we're going to go ahead and log into Web Host Manager. And the first thing I do is I always click List Accounts, and it shows shop-easy.com is set up. And then we're going to go into the cPanel, because this is where we are going to set that up. Okay, so now we want to scroll down to the bottom and click on WordPress. Right, we're going to click on Install. We're going to leave this at www.shop-easy.com. We can leave this default. We can leave this default. And we're going to call this, we're just going to call it Shop Easy. We're just going to call it Hot Clothing Discounts. You can name your site and give a description, whatever best fits your needs. Okay, so we're going to use the password generator. I don't like to use admin either, so I like to make it different because the first thing an attacker is going to try to do is use admin. So I always like to change that up, and then I save in another window that stuff. And then you want to put your email address to the admin account so you can get back in if you get locked out. A couple other options here you can choose if you want. We're going to leave everything default for now. You can even set up backups and all that stuff. Here's some pre-installed themes that are already on our system. So you might find one you like here. If not, you can go back through and get one at various other sites. But there are many different ones that we have pre-installed for you. And again, it says right here, this is optional. If not, the default theme is going to be installed. So let's just go through here. We'll try to pick a quick one that will work with what we're doing. And again, if not, you can always go back and change those up. There's a lot of really good ones though that are in here that are very versatile. Let's just grab Zippy, and then we click install. Okay, it just takes a second for the installer to run, and then after so it is ready to go. So you can see we've got WordPress installed. Now I went ahead and just installed it in /wp for this tutorial. You can install it in your root domain if you like, if you just like it on the root domain shop easy. Okay, and we can change that later, and I'm going to show you how to change that because we will do that real quick. So we're going to go to the admin area, and we're going to use our credentials that we just made in the setup area. And this is where you can change all that stuff. Now, sometimes there is updates when you first install, so I like to go in and update everything before I get going. You can see how easy that was. Okay, I want to go into here, and I want to change my settings so it's on the root domain. It's going to be in general. And we want to change this to be, or the site address to be on the root. So we're going to save these changes. And we actually have to edit an htaccess file to do that. Let's see if this will write it for us. No, still didn't. We're going to have to edit our htaccess, so no problem there. We'll get that done. Okay, so the next thing we need to do though is we need to go through and we need to make sure this is all configured, which we kind of did there in the last step. But if there's anything you want to go back and change, like I want to change the root URL, we go back there and we can change that. And there's a nice tutorial here too that if you kind of muff it up like I did there, you can change it up. But here's directions on that, and we'll walk through that here in just a second as well. Okay, so let's talk about this plugin we're going to use really quick. We are going to use a plugin from alipartnership.com, and this is a website, a company that has been started that help the AliExpress.com affiliates. Now this is a paid plugin, but it's going to be very well worth your time to install it. So we definitely recommend going with it. They help you automate a lot of the stuff, and they help you code your affiliate links in. So there's really not much grunt work, so to speak, that you have to do. It kind of automates the entire process for you. So anyhow, we're going to go to alipartnership.com really quick, and I'll show you the site. And you can see they've got on here some statistics about the AliExpress affiliate program, about how many billions of dollars are turned over, how many countries and regions they accept, how many products are available, how much commission you can earn, and the average conversion rate and all that stuff. So there's a bunch of good information on here, and they have a nice video and a nice guide. They've got a really good affiliate guide that we recommend as well that you can check out. So this is a plugin though we're going to get. And you can watch a 2-minute overview, but this video is already getting long. So we're going to go ahead and purchase this plugin, and then we'll return right back with you.